Health says the smoke can impact several groups of people.
That this kind of particulate pollution is not just a respiratory concern. Certainly, people who have asthma or COPD should be concerned about the exposure, but this smoke affects cardiovascular health substantially as well.
And several players from Connecticut have a chance to be picked in the NFL draft, which gets underway tonight. WTIC's Dave Mager.
One of the NFL teams looking to go big will draft 6'5", 320-pound guard Tyler Booker of New Haven. He played at St. Luke's in New Canaan before transferring to the IMG Academy and winding up at Alabama. Scouts call him a great run blocker and a possible first-round pick. UConn tackle Chase Luntz will likely be drafted in the mid to late rounds on Saturday. Another offensive lineman, Thomas Perry out of Killingworth and Middlebury College, is a possible draftee. Ja Joyner of Danbury could also go late. He's an edge rusher out of Minnesota. There's also productive Syracuse linebacker Justin Barron from Rocky Hill. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
WTIC News time is 3:05. Now the forecast.
Sunny and warm for the rest of our Thursday afternoon. A beautiful day, the high of 77. Partly cloudy and remaining mild tonight with the low down to 53. Now, very warm to round out the week Friday. We'll have some filtered sunshine around that sun and areas of high clouds, the high of 83. Friday night, it remains mild, but clear to partly cloudy in the evening with periods of rain late, the low down to 56. Saturday, a cloudy day. We'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy and cooler than it's been, the high of 65. Sunday, a windy day, partly sunny, cooler still to round out the weekend, and definitely going to feel it with that strong northwest wind throughout the day, the high of 60 on Sunday. Then Monday, pleasant and warmer to kick off the new week. Lots of sunshine as well, the high jumping up to 74 on Monday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's up 403 points, NASDAQ's up nearly 400, and the S&P is up 94. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you know a veteran in 1 minute? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, baby. Let's get it popping. How is everybody doing this Negro Nonsense Thursday on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC? Yeah, it's coming. I don't care what anybody says. It's coming. It's going to happen. It has to happen. I invented this. I've been doing it for years. We are not going to change midstream on Thursday. This is an important feature of the Reese on the Radio program. We don't kowtow to anybody. I got a phone call. I shouldn't say I got a phone call. Let me rephrase that. I got an email from someone, an older gentleman, who had a problem with our Thursday feature called Negro Nonsense. I will talk to you about that today during today's edition of Negro Nonsense, I actually got an opportunity to speak to that individual. And this conversation will astound you. When I tell you it's going to be great radio, when I tell you this story, sit back and relax. Many of you may know, if you're watching on Facebook or on X, you're probably saying, hey, what was going on over at the station? Well, the Red Sox are on right now. And that's fine, because I'm checking their score. And they're 2 runs behind the Seattle Mariners. Hopefully, in the next 4 innings, we'll see something develop. Good luck to them. We'll be back on those airwaves anywhere around 4:30, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to hold on to Negro Nonsense until about that hour so that everyone can hear. It's a good one today. Some old characters, some new characters. We'll get into that. Also, today, in this absolutely information, entertaining-filled show, I think I figured out how to end the practice of abortion in the inner city. As many of you know, the Planned Parenthood folks tend to keep their establishments in the inner city, poor communities. Whether it be black or white, they keep them in the poor communities because, this is a form of birth control for many in the inner city. I think I've figured out a foolproof way to put an end to it. And I don't know how I didn't see it before, but I wasn't applying it. I was too much focused on the thing that should have worked instead of finding out how to apply it in a positive way. We do that sometimes. Well, today I am going to solve that problem, and it's going to be amazing. But I need to talk about something in the opening monologue, about something I've been thinking about, you've been thinking about, we've been talking about. And it's about the Abrego Garcia case, but not in the way that you think. I'm done talking about this misfit, about this ne'er-do-well, human trafficking MS-13 member. I don't really have any interest in him, and I don't care about that sloppy broad he's married to. Yeah, that's what I said. The minute that she covered up those tattoos and ran around pretending like he was this decent man while her ex-husband's trying to get custody of his children, telling the world, hey, ding, 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 this guy's a gangbanger. What did that girl do? She refused that father of his children and chose, I repeat, chose to stay with that scum. So when I call her filthy, that's exactly what she is. She has no interest in taking care of her kids or the welfare of her kids. She likes her newfound fame thanks to her Senator Chris Van Hollen and every other silly and ridiculous Democrat who is actually, dipping their toes into this very, very stupid idea of defending Abrego Garcia. But if you're asking yourself, Reese, why do they keep making this mistake? It's simple. Do you ever notice that the politicians on the left, when they're talking to minorities, they always seem to veer towards criminal justice? Do you ever notice that? They talk about things like no cash bail, reducing sentencing, plea bargaining. That's always on the agenda. Sometimes I wonder, why don't they ever talk about reducing the prices of cigarettes and liquor? I mean, come on, just say it. Just say, hey, inner city, we're going to make sure you get no cash bail. We're going to lower the cost on your Newports. And hey, don't you think sometimes the Wild Irish Rose is a little expensive? I ask myself all the time, why don't they just say it? The minority in the inner city communities, they're never approached with things and talking points like tax breaks. That's never the agenda of the left and these politicians. They never do. There's a reason why the left goes overboard, as you saw Chris Van Hollen do, for guys like Abrego Garcia. They believe that their constituents, the minority left constituents, they believe that they identify with Abrego Garcia. They believe that it being an MS-13 isn't condemnable. They believe that minorities in this country feel the country is so bad, what else could Abrego do but to join a gang and survive? The hood knows how that is in order to survive in the inner city. So, of course, they don't see Abrego Garcia as a threat. He's just surviving. Do you remember what Bill Clinton said at the funeral for Robert Byrd? Klansman, not just Klansman, Grand Kleagle recruiter of the Klan. Bill Clinton said, Robert Byrd had to join the Klan so he could get elected. Yeah, there's always an excuse for that. Senators like Chris Van Hollen, they think that Abrego is a hero to minorities because he's sticking up for one of theirs. Have any of us forgotten about the left's pillars in the last couple of years? The criminal pillars that the left has managed to deify? Trayvon Martin in 2013. According to them, he was within his right to ground and pound George Zimmerman in the face for simply following him. You might remember Michael Brown. He was deified as the hands up, don't shoot victim. He was within his rights to fight with a police officer named Darren Wilson trying to take his gun, calling him the P word and then charging at him full speed to tackle him as Darren Wilson told him to stand down. No, Michael Brown was in the right. Darren Wilson, how dare he strike that man for disobeying a direct police order. Oh, and then trying to fight him to boot. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, he was within his right to shoot through a door at police as they were serving a no-knock warrant, which resulted in them knocking on the door anyway, announcing that they were police, and her boyfriend still firing on them, getting Breonna killed. They blamed the cops, not Breonna's boyfriend, for firing on police for knocking on the door, identifying themselves. What about Jacob Blake? Jacob Blake was within his right to reach for a knife on the driver's side of his SUV as officers commanded him to stand down while he was in a domestic altercation, resulting in Jacob Blake being paralyzed. But many people thought it was the police who should have allowed him to get the knife and put their lives in danger. He was held up prominently by the left. Many people, like the former Vice President of the United States, tweeting about him. And of course, let us not forget the patron Saint Floyd of Minneapolis. George Floyd, he was so deified, if Donald Trump weren't reelected, we'd have national holiday. It would be Martin Luther King and George Floyd Day. That man was within his right to go into a grocery store and again pilfer them with counterfeit bills, stealing from them. This is a product of the left. This is who they are. Abrego Garcia, everyone stayed around going, why would they stand up for this guy? Lest you forget all of these people I mentioned. There are some that I've even forgotten. Freddie Gray. This is what they do. They stand up for criminality because they think that's what associates with the left and the inner city left. That's why they talk to them about prison reform, ghettoism, They prop up rappers like Jay-Z and P. Diddy, till that bites them on the tuchus. But nonetheless, they do. They glorify this kind of criminality, make excuses for it. Look at Khalil Mahmoud. Here is a guy who wishes to destroy the Western civilization that these members of Congress took an oath to defend. They did. Defended from enemies, foreign and domestic. And here is a man who wishes to destroy the very fabric of the thing that they defend, that they took an oath to defend, and go visit him in court and argue for his release. This is the left. We need not be surprised. What we need to do is to see the criminal, recognize the criminal, look at our watches, our pocket watches, or wherever it is you get your time, cell phones nowadays, and you wait for which politician on the left is going to defend him or her. And they will, beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's insane. It's crazy to watch. It happens all over our society, anywhere and everywhere. And it's always the people on the left who are doing it. So I'm not surprised at them. I'm not surprised that they're supporting Abrego Garcia. If you're asking yourself, why do they keep doing it no matter what the news is, that is why. Because they're looking at the inner city and they're going, I know they support this guy. I know they do, but they don't. They don't. You see, it's hard to actually relate to a group of people you never visit. It's hard to relate to a neighborhood, town, constituency you've never broken bread with. Ask them. Talk to the people in East Hartford. Talk to the people in West Hartford. Talk to the people in Hartford. Talk to the people in Bridgeport. Talk to them. Ask them whether or not they see any of their elected officials coming through, patronizing their businesses. No, never. Not without a camera in tow. Not without a press junket to make themselves look good. Hey, look, I'm buying ice cream from this place that I'm never ever going to return to. Yeah. And everybody smiles while the rest of the community suffers. Look, Abrego Garcia is just nothing more than today's Jordans. They'll find something else to glom onto. When Abrego Garcia, his pretty much, his usefulness has waned, when he becomes redundant, when the party brokers and the what do you call those folks? The apparatus inside the Democratic Party, the pollsters, when they start giving them, it's like, hey, support for Abrego Garcia is going down. It's really not tracking all that well. We're going to need another tactic. Any other criminals we can support? Now we got nothing this week. Let's see if we can just switch gears. See if you can do some more cursing on TikTok. The kids seem to like that. All of this is about trends. Everybody's trying to recapture Barack Obama. Remember that? Do you remember that? I do. Barack Obama was the Twitter president. He got on Twitter. He immediately started to relate to younger people, and he was the Twitter president, which just was. And people are trying to recapture that, trying to see if they could get the Obama magic back. But they fail to realize that the whole problem with the culture today is that it's fleeting. Every new hit record is garbage 6 months later. They move on quickly. I realized this when I was working at Hot 97 in New York. This is just goes to show you how the culture works. And when the Democrat Party aligns itself, it doesn't realize how the culture works because, again, that's the Democrat Party, right? They want to be a part of the culture, but remember, they never get close enough to recognize how it works. So I'm working at Hot 97. I'll never forget it. 2001 is when I first started radio. I was just interning. I was a news guy, but never on the mic. And I'll never forget, we were sitting there, and the station used to do this thing called Back in the Day. Every radio station does it now and again. But, the voice of the station comes on, and they'll do this old school segment. And remember, it's 2001 when they started this over at the station. And they go, back in the day, 1998. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. It's 2001. That's not back in the day. It's like yesterday. What are you talking about? But that's when I realized it. When the culture is disposable, right? The culture is ever-changing, ebb and flowing. What's cool now is never cool forever because it immediately becomes old. Because in order for the culture to be a culture, it has to be new and fresh. Even if it waits 10, 15, 20 years to regurgitate that thing. It's got to be new and fresh and entertaining to the new group. You can bring it back from the past, but not immediately after. So I think that's where the whole thing. Call Stephen A. or Charles Barkley. I just understand that. So I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking of all the people that in the beginning we were all enraged about or all talking about their stories, and then we found out what happened, and everything they were doing was criminal. And sure enough, the left had to start backing away. They tried so much to uplift Michael Brown. They tried so much to uplift Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, George Floyd, Trayvon Martin. And as more and more of the truth came out, more and more people had to back away. It was sad. I do remember this. And I talk about the Michael Brown thing. I always remember that part of the story. And it tells you exactly how horrible all of this is. When witnesses of the Michael Brown shooting by Officer Darren Wilson happened, there was witnesses who told the local police that they saw Michael Brown with his hands up saying, "Don't shoot," and Darren Wilson gunned him down. Many people said he was shot in the back. This was before the autopsy came out. When Obama put the federal government in charge and brought the DOJ down to Ferguson, Eric Holder was on the ground and went to talk to those witnesses that the local police had spoken to. And many of those people showed up with attorneys. And the Justice Department thought that was odd that these innocent witnesses would show up with attorneys. But what we then learned was that those witnesses were coming in to change their stories. Why? Because the feds were involved and they knew they were lying. And when they were asked why they lied, they simply said, it looked like something was happening that was big and we wanted to be a part of it. So we told the story that would sort of help the myth. Sad, but it's true. How you doing, Dre? Welcome to the show. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. I have the cure.
Ain't no break, man.
Oh, there isn't? Oh, that's
Straight
right.
to the bottom.
I'm so used to it. We're going straight to the bottom. How we doing, Dre? Welcome to the show, sir. I forgot we're going right to the bottom of the hour. That's right. We're online. I got caught up in my own thing, Roland. I'm sorry. It was in my own head. And my body clock is saying at 27, we go to break. That's all. I have to retrain.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
You do it all the time? Okay, good. Yes, they became the story, Lori. That's exactly right. These people wanted to be so much a part of the story. They saw this momentum in the news media. They were gaining celebrity because of it. They were willing to lie in order to blow up this myth. And when the feds got in, they were scared. This is serious. It's no longer a joke. People ask the question, why do people lie? No one knows why liars lie. Some people have motives, but It's usually about self-preservation, something that they're trying to keep. In that case, they were trying to, keep their notoriety. They thought they were helping Michael Brown by lying about him. But when the feds got involved, they knew that something was up. Somebody was going to find out what was going on. And they immediately confessed that none of it was true. And when that happened, when Eric Holder gave that speech telling people, I implore you to read the 87-page report, he needed them to, because they were under the impression, many people in Ferguson were under the impression that the Obama administration was going to sweep this under the rug. He knew that the groundswell, this animosity towards the police and Darren Wilson was so palpable that something was going to explode. And if the Obama administration, with the first black attorney general, with the first black president, had actually cleared a white police officer, that would have been it. So they begged the public to read that report. And that's why everything changed. Now we can take a break. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. Top of the hour, bottom of the hour coming up. It's Reese on the Radio.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Waterbury police say a car traveling at a high rate of speed struck a building this morning that housed a city market. 4 people were killed. That scene on Cherry Street, where the BMW hit the building, remains active. The victims have now been identified. They are 20-year-old Caden Torres, 25-year-old Nelson Torres, and 15-year-old Noel Torres, all brothers. The other victim, 20-year-old Jonathan Pazuka, all of the victims were from Waterbury. A man who Brass City Police say stole a box truck and led officers on a pursuit Wednesday is now under arrest. The suspect, Dante Walton, hit several vehicles on Grand Street, including a pair of police vehicles. He's charged with reckless driving and other offenses. Police in the town of Plymouth investigating the theft of art from the Terryville Public Library. A post from the library says the thief swiped 3 pieces from artist Steve Parlato. Anyone with any information is being asked to contact police. Man who pled guilty in a fatal mass shooting on the 4th of July 3 years ago in the Chicago suburbs has now been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Robert Cremo shot up a parade from a rooftop. 7 were killed, dozens others wounded. Russia has attacked Kyiv with an hours-long barrage of missiles and drones that left 12 people dead and nearly 100 wounded. President Trump condemned the attack in a social media post aimed at his Russian counterpart today. WTIC News Time 3:32. Here's the forecast.
A beautiful rest of our Thursday afternoon, sunny and warm, the high of 77 today. Partly cloudy and remaining mild tonight, the low only down to 53. Then Friday, very warm with some filtered sunshine, the high jumping up to 83 to round out the week. Friday night, mild, clear to partly cloudy in the evening, then rain develops late, the low down to 56. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy and cooler, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, 75 right now in Hartford on the radio. It is the bottom of the 6th inning, one out, one on for the Red Sox, who trail Seattle 4-2. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Silas Norman. Kidney disease is devastating the Black community. We're more likely to have diabetes and high blood pressure, the leading causes of kidney disease.
I have diabetes.
I have high blood pressure.
And we're more likely to have kidney failure.
My mom is on dialysis.
Black people are 4 times more likely to be on dialysis, yet we're less likely than other groups to get a kidney transplant. As Dr. Silas Norman, a kidney transplant physician, I can tell you that 90% of people with kidney disease don't know they have it. And every day about 12 people die waiting for a kidney transplant. But kidney failure is often preventable. Talk to your doctor about your risk for kidney disease. Insist on getting your kidneys checked regularly, especially if you have diabetes or high blood pressure.
We're the American Kidney Fund. We believe in kidney health for all. Visit kidneyhealthforall.org. That's kidneyhealthforall.org.
Yes! I finally got my first phone!
It is exciting. Let's learn a few things about online safety first.
We can secure our world when you choose your password.
password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
And the thing really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true. It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's phishing.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world.
Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. It can feel like a race against time. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, it's essential to know that you don't have to confront lung cancer alone. Through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. From screening, treatment, and survivorship support to finding the right care close to home, we are your community. As your friends, your guides, your teachers,
40 seconds,
advocates, and your support system, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org today.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Here we go.
9676.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, yes, and we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Look at John Beckman in there. A couple of old cohorts from back on the West Coast coming in to hang out. Barack was a pawn for imperialism. I don't know anything about that. Okay, I need to say this today, and I was thinking about this for a long time. You guys remember during the whole election last year when Joe Biden's going to drop out. We know he's going to drop out. We know he's going to drop out. We know he's going to drop out. Okay, fine. There were a lot of you who said, if they do anything, they need to just bring in Michelle Obama. And for years, I had been telling you, no, Michelle Obama is never ever going to, she's never going to go. She's never going to join. She's never going to run for anything. Political office, forget about it, Democrats. She is not going to run. And I said, I know exactly why she isn't, but I will never tell. And I stood by that for years. When I say I stood by this for over 10 years on what I'm about to say. I would have never told. I am not the type of person that goes against their word. I said, and I could have come out and just said it. Here it is. Here's the reason why she won't run. But I kept my word. I said, I won't. And then Michelle Obama decided to do a podcast. And from what I gather, it's not very popular other than to poke fun at. I don't know what that's about. I thought people really liked Michelle Obama. But as I said a long time ago, it's not true. Sadly, Michelle Obama has fabricated fanfare. She is not the most liked first lady in the country, or ever for that matter. She never has been. All of that is manufactured. It is a desire for this black woman to be adored, liked. Her personality is awful. How she engages with people is very condescending. She is smart. She is bright. But she is wrought with grievance. By everyone. With everyone. It is not just about her being a black woman who's upset about this. That isn't the case. So I understand yesterday or the day before on her podcast, she revealed something that a lot of people always knew but would not talk about. And I heard people kind of rumbling about it, but they would not approach it. But like I said, I was never going to tell until Michelle Obama actually said it. So here it is. Michelle Obama would never run for elected office, could not run for elected office because she suffers from one problem. And it is not what you think. Please stop calling her a man. It is not because of that. It's because Michelle Obama has had a long history of mental fitness ailments. She is not very mentally fit. If you listen to her podcast, she explains it to you. She all but explained the fact that her and Barack have had to go to couples counseling. She's had to go to therapy. She's made this very clear. Now, I never expected her to bring this out, but I knew it was coming. Here's why. Because she is grievance-filled. Everything in the world is happening to Michelle Obama. No matter what she has achieved in her life, whether it be handed to her or anything, everything that in her life has been handed to her. Her praise handed to her, unearned. No one knows anything about Michelle Obama. You know that. She is the most praised first lady no one knows about. There are more rumors about that woman. Why? Why do those rumors even exist? Because nobody knows her. They don't. They don't know her. She is the most mysterious woman in the world. Hell, everybody knows Laura Bush got in a car accident that got a guy killed. Everybody knows that. But they know virtually nothing about the most popular first lady in history. Chris Rock said that Michelle Obama is like your mom. She's supposed to be Black America's mom, and they know nothing about her. And as you listen to her podcast, what do you keep hearing? Grievance. And all of it was finally revealed in, I guess, yesterday's podcast, where all she talked about was mental fitness, which she lacks. She cannot deal with pressure. She is always under pressure. Everything is always a problem with everyone else. It's never her. She is not self-reflecting in any way. That's why it's like that. So she can't run for political office at all. She is, again, it's not like she's got some sort of, she's got no, like Joe Biden. She doesn't have cognitive issues, but she can't really focus on things. Can you imagine having an elected official who always finds a way for it to be someone else's fault? There's no accountability. All she talks about is, as a black woman, we have to do this. As a black woman, people can't even give us the... If you listen to her podcast, just one, that's all you'll ever hear, is about how poorly she is treated as a person. And I'm like, this woman? But that's the capacity of her. That's how she operates. Lori says coworkers said she never knew who she was. Said they never knew who she was at the place she worked prior to Barry's election. Yes, no one knows her. No one knows her. Think about all the rumors you've heard about Michelle Obama over the years. Some people have lied and said, oh, the kids ain't hers. Malia and Sasha, yeah. People have argued that their children are even hers. I mean, there are rumors out there that suggest, hey, have you ever seen a picture of Michelle Obama pregnant? Apparently, there are no photos. So, I mean, I always say it's not so much about the conspiracy theory. It's always about what's behind it, right? You can always come up with a conspiracy theory, but what gives it legs? The lack of clear evidence to the contrary. That's how that works. So you hear these people talking about Michelle Obama, even the rumors about her being a man, right? You have all of this circumstantial evidence. Like people always go to the Ellen thing where she's dancing, where someone says they see something in her pant leg. Which, by the way, that video always gets me. I keep saying, nah, that's not true. That's digitally enhanced. It's just fun. I just find it incredible. It's always interesting. But I say that's what lends it. It lends itself to this scrutiny because there's lack of evidence to the contrary. Not that I'm saying you have to, right? I'm not saying you have to, like Michelle Obama has to come up and find a pregnancy photo in order to finally put an end to it. But it does beg the question, why doesn't anyone ever, like, why isn't there one? I know, I'm sorry, ladies, do you, if you have children, are you going to tell me there isn't a picture of you? There isn't a picture of you pregnant? Really? It's like, I kind of look at it like women when they're pregnant, whether they take pictures of themselves like during like the first trimester or the second trimester, but the third trimester, it's just one of those things where like how big you are. Like my friend Apple, she is a little person. She's like 5'2". When she was pregnant with Abby, her youngest, her belly, I thought she swallowed like, like a meteor. She is like bloated. Her stomach looks twice her size. So women take photographs of that because it kind of is a scientific phenomenon. It's like, can you believe that the human body can do this? So to not have Michelle Obama's pregnancy photos kind of is odd because you're just looking at it as any other normal person would. You're looking at it going, nah, when I had my babies, my belly got big. That's a sense of pride. We took photographs of that and sent it to the grandparents. Oh, look how big we're getting. That's just me. It's my... Yeah, Polly, you're not even right. They're not even right. Some people are just mean-spirited. Anyway, make sure that you stick around today. We are going to finally have, how are we going to end abortion in the inner city? How are we going to end abortion in the inner city? I don't know how. I didn't figure it out all this time. I got more Letitia James news as well. That's actually very, very sad, this story that I'm going to read. So that's coming up as well. We're going straight to the top of the hour. Is that correct?
57.
Roland? Oh, okay. We're going straight to that. Okay, so good. All right. With that being said, Sunny Houston. I've got stuff on her as well. Let's read some of the stuff that's in the chat room. Now I'm here. Lori says her dresser team is too busy trying to pick out her clothes on a daily basis. It's kind of true because I see her with all of these weird, like in I guess yesterday's podcast, she's doing something very interesting with her hair with all of these designs. And I was just like, she's a lot more adventurous now with her hairdos than she ever was. She always kept it very simple, very professional. And now she's gone like very, I don't want to call it Afrocentric, but very designer friendly or hair designer friendly with her hair. I don't understand it because, again, I've never understood women and their hair. And like as soon as my friends start doing the braided thing and then the weird designs in the hair, I say nothing. I said one thing once in my life and I got shut down. So I keep my mouth shut ever since. I can't touch it. Michelle Maybell looking rough these days. She does look a little tired, which I'm trying to understand that too. That she appears to be very weathered. And I think that's maybe, that could be, maybe I don't want to call it depression, but it could be symptoms of it. Sort of the upkeep, you look tired all the time. You try to dress nice, but it just doesn't show up on your face. It's like a disappointment that's going on. I don't know. It's just kind of that thing. That's why she didn't attend the inauguration, according to her. Yes, she really just wanted to take time to herself. But you're right, Lori, in this aspect. And I thought about that when I read it. She said she wanted to keep time to herself. And the first thing that came to my mind was, Michelle, all the time is yours. Unless I'm missing something. Does she have a job? Does she have a regular job? Does she have a volunteer gig she does? Does she have a foundation that she's at all the time? I don't know this because how could the media not report on it? It's Michelle Obama. They love her. They would be telling her what she's doing every day as a sign of how great she is. We never hear those stories. So saying that she needed time to herself kind of felt fake or untrue. Matt says, I understand about the pictures with ladies who are pregnant. How about the pictures of Reese in spandex bike shirt? You're never going to get those. All right. Reese, this portion of your show is Negro nonsense. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, Bob. You seem to be very offended. I'm sorry. Are you going to get in your feelings today? Because if this is going to be a feelings day, I'm going to tell you that today, on Thursdays, you may have to take a break from the show. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. And I say this to, my 6 or 7 African-American listeners of the show. If Thursday is going to be that day where you're going to get all up in your feelings, where you're going to wear your heart on your sleeve, and every conversation about black people is going to send you into a tizzy, like you're going to become the Tasmanian devil, and maybe you're going to start like breaking things in your house or pulling out your hair or, having a tantrum online, pause from the show for today. Go take a break. And I got to be honest with you. I don't give 2 damns about your sensitivity. I don't care. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I don't care. I really don't. I've never cared about that because there's nothing more than emotional extortion. My feelings are hurt. Stop it. Grow up, please. And with all due respect, look, I'm not trying to sound evil here, but I'm not going to read your comments anymore. I'm just going to ignore you. So do yourself a favor and just bounce. I mean that. Bounce. All that sensitivity stuff and that turn, save that for your office. Save that for your friends that you can extort. Okay? I'm not having it. Okay? I'm not afraid of you. Complain to the front office if you gotta. Okay? Just to let them know that I hurt your feelings. Tell the bosses where Reese hurt you. I don't care. God, here's your leader. He's in the chat room now. Anyway, Rama says it's the leftism. She's had it all her life, and it's taken a toll on her. I think so. Look, getting back to the Michelle Obama thing, let me explain this to you. If she is really, really suffering, I don't understand why hash it out on the podcast. But maybe that's therapeutic to her. I know that too, because I come in here on the microphone all the time, and I'll talk about something that's going through, like Therapy Thursdays. The reason why I used to do Therapy Thursdays was primarily, it's my problem, you deal with it, because I kind of wanted guidance. I didn't want to run up here and tell everybody, woe is me. The boy won't go to the Citadel. I'm horribly upset about this, and I need a good cry. No, it's like, I wanted to understand, am I the only person going through this? And usually you're not. And I think that's the way it is, right? Everything you think is isolated to your life, that's isolated to your way of life. You open your mouth and start talking to people, and then you realize that everything you're going through is relatable to someone else. And the beauty of that is by sharing it, their experiences help you. So I kind of feel, now I don't know if that's happening with Michelle Obama, because I don't think she's taking live phone calls. I don't think she's reading comments from people. That's always been a red flag to me, is that you got to take the slings and arrows as well. And you have to be able to endure that. If you're going to do a podcast that she's doing, there are going to be some people who are critical of the stuff she's talking about or are going to ask her tough questions. Okay, Michelle Obama, you've lived kind of a charmed life for the past 10, 15 years. What's the problem? You got a Martha's Vineyard home worth $15. You were in Spain just a month ago. You travel all over the country. Probably no meal you've ever eaten has been paid for. Someone has paid for it for you. Literally, you tell Vogue magazine you want to be on the cover, and they'll probably put you on the cover in 2 months in a row. What's going on? And every reasonable person has a right to ask that. What's going on? Now, again, that isn't to say that she's not dealing with her own mental issues. I'm being very fair here. That isn't to say she isn't. I'm just pointing out that if she wants help, you ask for it. If you don't and you just want to grieve, you just want to go, yeah, grievance, then no. Nobody's got time for that. Yeah, Tim, I may have to block you. I may have to. So let me just put it this way. Say something else. Write something else that I don't approve of. And we'll just end that relationship real quick. I dare you. Okay? Yeah, I'm going there today. I've got an attitude. See, the difference between me and Michelle Obama is at least I express it. So, you, go ahead, please. Say something smart. I dare you. I triple dog dare you. Say something smart. You know what? I got some time for him. Let's go to George before we go to a break. How we doing, George?
Hi, Reese. How do you put down the Democrat Party once and for all? You demonstrate to the public that they're as ancient as the horse and buggy. You create a new industrial revolution. You take all these tariffs, you bring back all the industries that have been lost for 30 years, and you add some. There is nothing more powerful than the American public, the industry of the American public. These are the new Nobel Prize winners that are out there right now, and you're about to see it. You're about to see the new industrial revolution under Trump.
I'm hoping that you're right.
I'm confident that Trump can bring back all the old industries and add some, and turn the trade deficit into something positive. There is nothing more powerful than the creativity of the American public. I can see it out there. It's happening, and you're going to see it with AI. You're going to find people instructed in law and in engineering, and they're going to finally turn everything around.
You're absolutely right, George. Let's get to some traffic and weather. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's get to some weather and traffic, our first of the show, with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing out there, sir?
To you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, we are dealing with a couple of issues. One is 91 southbound between 25S and N and exit 24. Looks like an accident, a vehicle and a tractor trailer involved. Looks like they've got it over to the right shoulder now. So you're going to see delays now from 26 down to the accident scene. If you're on the northbound side of 91, you're going to see some rubbernecking delays now from exit 24 up to the accident scene where people are rubbernecking at that crash. After that, you got a good ride downtown Hartford up into the Windsor exits. Now, if you're on the westbound side of 84, you've got delays now as you move approaching exit 56 Governor Street up to exit 47 Sigourney Street. We had an accident in the right center lane. It looks like they just cleared that by 47 Sigourney Street, so that traffic will start to move a little bit better now on the westbound side of 84. If you're 84 eastbound, you're locked up from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84, looking good east of the river. If you are traveling 84 eastbound in East Hartford, some slow traffic, 58 out to 59 and the 384 interchange. 2 westbound slowing as you move up in Glastonbury by exit 4B. Again, delays from 1D in East Hartford up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown slows 22 up to the Aragoni. A lot of traffic in Waterbury. 84 eastbound delays approaching 17 to 18. Again, 26 in Cheshire down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows in Waterbury 25A up to the Mixmaster. Southbound Parkway, look for delays. 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound, you're tight 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A beautiful rest of our Thursday afternoon. Sunny and warm, the high of 77 today. Partly cloudy and remaining mild tonight, the low only down to 53. Then Friday, very warm with some filtered sunshine, the high jumping up to 83 to round out the week. Friday night, mild, clear to partly cloudy in the evening, then rain develops late, the low down to 56. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy and cooler, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 75 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Part of a corner market building in Waterbury partially collapsed this morning when a BMW slammed into it. The crash occurred at the Hernandez Market on the corner of Cherry Street and Maple Avenue. This is Waterbury Police Chief Fred Spagnolo.
There were 4 passengers in the car. All 4 have died from injuries resulting from this particular accident.
The victims now identified: 20-year-old Caden Torres, 25-year-old Nelson Torres, and 15-year-old Noel Torres, all brothers. The other victim, 20-year-old Jonathan Puska. All of the victims were from Waterbury. The chief says no one was inside that part of the building or outside when the crash occurred, likely preventing further injury or loss of life. President Trump says he's putting pressure on both sides to end the war in Ukraine. This after another deadly attack on the Ukraine capital.
I'm trying to put out the fire, and I think we'll be successful. And if we do, we're going to save a lot of lives.
Trump lashed out at Putin on social media today.
Steve Witkoff, his lead envoy for these sensitive matters, expected to be in Russia in the coming days. But sending that signal through his own social media platform, one that's closely monitored by the world, to say, stop Putin and let's get this deal done. It signals that he's frustrated with both sides, clearly trying to put pressure on them, realizing that if this kind of violence continues, there's no hope for a deal.
That's correspondent Ed O'Keefe at the White House. Pope Francis continues to lie in state on the second of 3 days of mourning following his death this week at 88. The College of Cardinals, those under the age of 80, will gather to select a successor. Timothy Cardinal Dolan of the Archdiocese of New York.
We're carrying the intentions of the Archdiocese with us. We had thousands of people wrote in with the names of the sick, faithful departed that had the struggles, and asked us to bring those intentions to Rome, so we do.
Francis's funeral is Saturday. Man's under arrest after police say he stole a box truck and led officers on a chase which resulted in several vehicles being struck. It was before noon on Wednesday. The officers were alerted about the truck that was taken from the scene at 115 South Main Street. That vehicle was registered to a contractor who'd been doing work in the area. When officers attempted to stop the vehicle, they say 29-year-old Dante Walton of Waterbury led them on a pursuit, hitting a Connecticut State Police cruiser and a Waterbury Police SUV, among other vehicles on Grand Street. Walton later fled on foot but was captured. He now faces a host of charges, including larceny and engaging police in pursuit. An investigation's underway in the town of Plymouth after officials at the Terryville Public Library reported an art theft. They say paintings from local artist Steve Parlato have been taken. Corporal Henry McAtee is with the Plymouth Police Department.
The librarian noticed that 3
pieces of art that were exhibited and that were on loan to the library were missing from the wall, stolen from the wall.
Worth about $1,200 a piece. Anyone with information being asked to get in touch with Plymouth PD. Superintendent Madeleine Negron says there will be devastating budget cuts for the New Haven public school system unless the state steps in to help. As it stands, they're looking at a budget deficit of at least $15 million for the next year. Mayor Justin Elliker says the state's baseline contribution to educational cost sharing hasn't changed in more than a decade.
What hasn't gone up in price in the last 10 years? Everything from eggs to utilities to salaries, everything has gone up, but the state still thinks that it costs the same amount to educate a child. And the funding that comes to our municipalities is based on that number. That's ridiculous.
Negron says unless more state funding turns
You're
up,
on the
there will
westbound
be
side of
potential
84.
school closures, larger class sizes, cuts to arts and athletics, plus as many as 130 teacher layoffs. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. As we check the markets, the Dow up 486 points, NASDAQ up 457, S&P up 108. For these stories and more, keep it here at WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you know a veteran in need? Leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org. Call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Okay.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Somebody was asking inside the chat room, I know you don't like opposing views. Of course I love opposing views. Are you new here? Are you new here? I don't like opposing views. Like, are you kidding me? It must be your first time. That's okay. I love opposing views. I love crapping on them. But I love opposing views because it's always emotional. That's not an opposing view. Okay? That's something you share with a therapist. An opposing view has context, right? It's structured. It's based on theories, if not experience, not on emotion. Well, I think that's wrong. Okay, explain to me why it's wrong. Well, it just feels wrong. That's not an argument. It isn't. See, what you're seeing here, and let me explain this to you. Now, I can't even explain it to you now. I will explain it. I will explain to you what's being done here. And it's an experiment that could fail, but an experiment nonetheless. And I'll explain it to you when we get back. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're westbound 84 coming into Hartford, delays 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney Street. Eastbound side of 84 slowing 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley. A little tight again, 58 out to 59 and the 384 interchange. If you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see delays from exit 34 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. And then you're back in some stop and go again from exit 27 down to between exit 25 S&N and 24. We have an accident on the right shoulder. Looks like a vehicle and a tractor trailer involved there. So a lot of rubbernecking with that on the right shoulder. Northbound 91, you're going to see delays now from exit 22 up to the area of exit 24, some rubbernecking at that southbound crash. Now, if you are traveling Route 2 westbound, delays from 1D up to the 84 West merge, 291 through 84 moving well east of the river. 9 northbound, Middletown slows 22 to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, you're tied up in Waterbury 17 to 18, and again 26 in Cheshire down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 Waterbury slows 25A up to the Mixmaster on the westbound side of 84. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing New York, Connecticut line out to 5 again from 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway heavy now 62 in New Haven down to the area of exit, or I should say North Haven down to the area of exit 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound delays 48 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's been a beautiful day, but it is warm for most of us, except if you're down along the Sound. New London, New Haven, and Bridgeport, significantly cooler with a little bit of wind coming off of the water. Now, as we head through the rest of tonight, looking good for us, partly cloudy, remaining mild, the low down to 55. Very warm as we head through Friday with some filtered sunshine, sun in areas of high clouds, the high of 85. Clear to partly cloudy Friday evening, then becoming cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low 58. Cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm Saturday, breezy and cooler, the high 65. Windy Sunday, going to feel pretty cool with the high of 60 and a strong northwest wind throughout the day. And then Monday, pleasant and warmer to kick off the week, the high jumping up to 74. So right now, New London at 57, New Haven at 66. It's 60 in Bridgeport, Waterbury 72, 75 in Danbury, and 73 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I don't understand why I'm getting these weird things on the chat rooms. These people who are talking about cancer treatment. I know it's spam, but I just can't believe that I'm getting it. It's kind of weird that they're showing up. The telephone number is still the same, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We are still waiting for the Red Sox game to end. According to this, oh, look at that. Oh, it could go into extra innings at this rate. We're in the 8th inning, and Red Sox actually just scored another run. So we are now at 4-3. Mariners are up. So we'll see what happens in the next I guess inning or so. Bottom of the is it bottom of the 9th? Yeah, it says bottom of the 9th. So yeah, we'll see. Likelihood that they could I don't know, they could bring it home. Well, let's see. We'll wait and see what happens and how close they do get. And we'll of course let you know when we get back, and also at the top of the hour with John Silva. So Negro Nonsense coming up. It's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to get into there, from Letitia James, Sunny Hostin, Houston, Houston. Also want to talk about, I figured it out, how we can get the inner city and the abortion, activists. We could actually hit them in the pockets with their money. And I'm surprised that I hadn't figured this out before. So we'll talk about that as well. So stick around for it. Tim had said something in the chat room. It was like, oh, do something local. We're online. There are plenty of people who are listening all over the country online. Obviously, you don't know how this works. Also, by the way, if you ever want this spot, come get it. If you ever want the 3 to 6 spot, come get it. I say that to anyone who complains about the way in which I do the show. I ain't got no issues with you. Come and get it. Come and get it. I know there are people out there who are better at this than me. If you think you are, please don't be shy. Come get it. I love healthy competition. We'll get into that as well. I know there was some old stuff that I needed to get into, and it was this one. Let me find this real quick because I had it here, and I just didn't bring it up. Oh, there it is. Okay, now I know. So apparently there's a story based upon Donald Trump's Truth Social, who says that he's going to be meeting with Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of the Atlantic magazine. And you might as well remember him. We talked about him here. The Atlantic magazine and Jeffrey Goldberg, he wrote this article about he was involved or brought in to a signal chat or signal conversation with many of the cabinet members as Pete Hegseth was breaking down the attack on the Houthis. Jeffrey Goldberg, trying to say that, this was classified information that he was privy to, was saying that he was concerned about releasing any of it because the names of individuals like operating CIA agents were in jeopardy, that this could have caused them, great harm if this had gotten to the hands of the wrong people. Well, Jeffrey Goldberg was embarrassed because the person in which he was suggesting turned out to be the chief of staff for the head of the CIA, not a CIA agent. So that blew up in his face. And the media has tried really, really hard to keep this story afloat because they wish to go after Pete Hegseth. And why? Because Pete Hegseth is not a neocon, and he is going to go into the Pentagon and he's going to root out anyone and everyone who is a war hawk trying to get our young, brave men and women into conflicts overseas and endless wars. And they wish to get rid of Pete Hegseth because they want one of their own. NSA director Brennan was the same. There was the same case with him. Not Brennan. What was his name? Gosh, why am I forgetting his name now? Somebody's going to remind me in the chat room. Whom the NSA director, the one that Trump had to get rid of because they thought he had lied to Mike Pence. Anyway, moving on from that. So now Donald Trump's going to have this meeting with Jeffrey Goldberg. Anyway, he's going to do this interview with him. And Donald Trump just says that this interview is Donald Trump challenging himself to see if the Atlantic will be fair and balanced. Even though the Atlantic is also the paper that wrote the hoax about losers and suckers. That story that Donald Trump went to Normandy and called people who died in World War II losers and suckers. Trump is still going to allow Goldberg into the White House to do an exclusive interview with him. And people don't know how to take it. They're making a lot of news about it. Why would you bring this guy into the fold? And look, I think that Trump 2.0 is different from Trump 1.0. And I don't know if they know, but I definitely know.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It has to be a trap. It has to be. What other reason could you get? This newspaper, this magazine, whatever it is, every chance they get without access into the White House, they are writing the worst and most ridiculous stories that have completely been debunked. But they keep writing them. And now Donald Trump is bringing them back. Now, I hope, look, if it's a charm offensive, fine. I'll take the L on this one. Donald Trump in that case. And I'll say this right out loud. If Donald Trump thinks that he's going to bring in Jeffrey Goldberg and charm him to death to get a good article out of him, Donald Trump is a knucklehead. Okay? I will tell you right off the bat, dumbest move ever. But I really don't think so. I think that they are bringing him in, Jeffrey Goldberg, that is, to set a trap for him. I think they are. And I think they're going to fall for it. Hook, line, and sinker. That thirstiness that Goldberg and the Atlantic have to undo this presidency, to delegitimize it, is so adamant, it's so obvious that it's one of those things where all you have to do is bring them into the White House, get them close to you, and lay out the breadcrumbs, and they will eat up every one of them. That's what they will do. They will eat up every one of them. And it will end badly. And I know, just in my heart of hearts, this is one of those things where you take Jeffrey Goldberg, you get him into a situation where you can destroy his credibility. Like I would say, Donald Trump and Goldberg behind the scenes having a conversation, no one else in the room, in the Oval Office, sitting at the Resolute desk, and him asking Goldberg something quietly like, you know, I don't think you really hate me. I think you're doing it to sell papers. I think you lie on me because there's so much Trump hate out there that you know it sells newspapers. I think you secretly like me. And Goldberg said something like, no, Mr. President, I really do like you. I think you're a great person. I think that you've had a stellar career. And then that whole time be taping him saying glowing things about him. That's exactly what I think is going on. I think that's exactly what's going on here. What happened to Tim Scott and Byron Donalds in the political wilderness? How are they in the political wilderness? I don't understand that, Donald. And are you mentioning Tim Scott and Byron Donalds because they're both black? And they tell me not to bring up race. What's Tim Scott and Byron Donalds? Are they supposed to get a position because they're black? I mean, are you expecting DEI from the DEI killing Donald Trump administration? That would sound counterproductive. Like, why would we bring in Tim Scott and Byron Donalds? Because they're black? Byron Donalds is running for governor of Florida. Did you miss that? He's on an active campaign to become governor of Florida. And it looks very much like he's going to win that. And Tim Scott's got a very, very prominent role in the Senate out of South Carolina. What was he supposed to do? He was in the running to be VP, but I think they made a good choice with J.D. Vance. He's got a better story. He's got an American story. I'm not exactly understanding. But, well, maybe it might be my bad. Maybe you really don't follow this politics thing that tough. I do. I don't give two damns about Tim Scott, with all due respect. People say that to me all the time. I was at this Republican fair in Virginia, and this old actress said to me, she goes, "Oh, you're a Republican?" I mean, yeah. She goes, "What do you think of Tim Scott?" I said, "Ma'am, I don't think about Tim Scott. What are you talking about?" "What do you mean, what do I think of Tim Scott? I don't think of him." Oh, she didn't know how to react to that. Oh, and I immediately caught it. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. That's right, because he's black. Is that supposed to mean something to me? People don't know how to respond to that. That means nothing to me. It does. I don't care. Tim Scott's okay. You know? I like Byron Donalds. I mean, he's all right. I think he's feisty, and he fights back. I love to watch him on congressional hearings. He's absolutely fantastic in cross-examining some of these witnesses. I think he can work on it a little better. He's got fire in him. He punches back. That's probably my favorite thing about any Republican for that matter. Don't take that stuff lying down. That's the way I look at that. A lot of these guys, a lot of these people in politics talk a good game quietly alone by themselves. I'll give you another example. Chris Murphy's a perfect example of this. You notice Chris Murphy is never in hostile territory. Never in hostile territory. He won't ever be in hostile territory. It's got to be tongue bath, fair and balanced, kind-hearted, no confrontation. If it is, it's minute. Never held him. His commentary is never held to account. He's never forced to have to answer for some of the most ridiculous things he ever said. He'll never go into interviews like that. Well, he'll talk big game on every one of these favorable outlets and in all of these newspapers and magazines. We need to get out there and talk to people who are different than us. Hey, Chris, come on my show. Well, we're a little busy. Like I said, and it would be easy to just call him a coward, but it's not about him being a coward. It isn't even about him being afraid. It's not about that. It's not about him being afraid. It's about not being able to answer some of the things. What you need to do, what Chris Murphy wants to do is to throw rocks from the roof, never on the ground. That's who he is politically. That's who these people are. That's why I try to talk to him. Because throwing them from the roof, or dropping water balloons from the apartment building and never coming downstairs to actually throw them in somebody's face, that's the difference between them and me. I attacked his girlfriend. When did I attack his girlfriend? I said she was younger than him. That's a fact. I didn't even call. In fact, someone who I put up the picture said that she wasn't very attractive, and I said I didn't think that was fair. I thought she was mildly attractive. Richard says Chris would wet his pants if he was ever confronted with an opposing point of view. Yeah, I think he would stammer through that interview. I don't think he's qualified to actually, but then again, that's the whole thing. It's being able, that's the analogy. Throwing the water balloons from the top of, from the top of the roof or from the apartment window and never being on the ground throwing it at the person who's right in front of them who can throw a water balloon back. That's the difference between, some of us, a Byron Donalds versus a Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy, the biggest opposition he ever shows up on is Shannon Bream over on Fox News Sunday. Right? And Shannon Bream's never been known to be a hard-hitting journalist for the right. She's a very fair and even-keeled reporter. She keeps it on a very Chris Wallace level, back in his early days. So she's not confrontational. You'll never see him up against a Jesse Waters. You'll never see him up against like a Brett Baer. They've done very little for the inner cities in Connecticut. Yeah, but you still support them. You still support them over Republicans. If you had to vote, you'd still support them, Donald. You know you would. You love these guys. Republicans are the enemy. The enemy. Chris Murphy will always get your vote. He can ignore you forever. He's got that vote in the bag. And that's kind of how it works, right? I wouldn't talk to you if I know I got your vote. I know I don't have to. What's he going to do? That's what Barack Obama said about the black vote in 2012. What are you going to do, vote Republican? Come on. They're just not going to show up. I'd say he knew that. He laughed at y'all. Laughed at you. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Where are we at? The game's over, right? No, we're still at the bottom of the ninth.
Nah, it's not quite over yet.
Yeah, it looks like we're still at the bottom of the ninth. How many strikes we got? Oh, 2 strikes. Yeah, this is that. Wow, that came out of nowhere. What the hell? Was that a bus? Let's get another check of the traffic and weather with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher is in a BPS traffic center, and then we'll get the score. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the southbound side of I-91.
My bad.
Sorry. Now, you're going to see delays from exit 30.
I had it turned up too loud.
To A and B, and then some more slow traffic as you move down from exit 27 Brainerd Airport Road down to between exits 25 S&N and 24. That's right on the weather shield, Rocky Hill line. Accident involving a tractor trailer. All the activity on the right shoulder, but it is causing some big rubberneck delays right now. Northbound 91 slows 24 up to the accident scene, rubbernecking at that southbound crash. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 a little tight as you approach exit 57 in East Hartford. Again, you're tied up approaching 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound locked up. 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. Again, some slow traffic. 58 out to 59 in the 384 interchange. 291 eastbound slowing on 91 over to the Bissell. 2 westbound, you've got delays now as you move from exit 1D up to the 84 West merge. 2 eastbound through East Hartford, you'll see some slow traffic as you move between exit 2A and exit 3 as you move through East Hartford. Now, 3 southbound is heavy from Route 2 in Glastonbury over the Putnam Bridge to the 91 South ramp. That's because of that tractor-trailer accident on 91 South. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays 22 to the Aragoni. 84 eastbound Waterbury sluggish 17 to 18. Westbound 84 into Waterbury slowing 23 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound is slowing in Danbury, New York, Connecticut line out to 5. Again from 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, look for slow traffic from 62 down to the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 South New Haven's tight from the Q Bridge down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A beautiful rest of our Thursday afternoon. Sunny and warm, the high of 77 today. Partly cloudy and remaining mild tonight, the low only down to 53. Then Friday, very warm with some filtered sunshine, the high jumping up to 83 to round out the week. Friday night, mild, clear to partly cloudy in the evening, then rain develops late, the low down to 56. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy and cooler, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Waterbury police have released the names of the victims in an overnight crash that left 4 people dead. They've been identified as brothers, 20-year-old Caden Torres, 25-year-old Nelson Torres, and 15-year-old Noel Torres. And the other victim, 20-year-old Jonathan Putska. Their vehicle crashed into a building early this morning. All 4 were pronounced dead, 3 at the scene and 1 at a local hospital. President Trump has offered rare criticism of Vladimir Putin during urging, that is, the Russian president to stop after a deadly barrage of attacks on the Ukraine capital of Kyiv. Disruptive protests in New Haven last night over Israel's security minister's visit near the university, near Yale University. They threw water bottles at Jews and Imitar Ben-Gvir as he prepared to speak at a private Jewish leadership event. Hartford's school board trying to make their case to city leaders on why the city should help them cover a $6.7 million deficit as they work to negotiate a new budget for the next academic year. And the Terryville Library says 3 pieces of collage art were stolen on Wednesday. Local artists, they're the works of local artist Steve Perlato. They're valued at about $1,200 a piece. We've got photos on our website at WTIC.com. Plymouth police say anyone with any information should give them a call. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 486 points today. The NASDAQ gained 457, and the S&P was up 108. It's over at Fenway. The Mariners beat the Red Sox this afternoon 4-3. Mets and Yankees.
All right.
Off. NBA playoffs. Knicks will try to rebound.
Yeah, yeah, I need some time though, so you can switch your phone over.
Okay. City, that series tied at a game apiece. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager, victim to fake pills bought from social media. This doesn't seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. So listen, before buying pills from social media, think again.
At ManchesterHarley.com. On approved credit.
This is the Nissan postgame show. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com.
Red Sox fall in this finale, and they lose this series, dropping 2-3 to the Seattle Mariners, a club that historically they played great against at Fenway Park, but 4-3 the final score today. That ends the homestand. The Red Sox will go 4-3 on it. And they'll be off to Cleveland and Toronto on the upcoming road trip beginning tomorrow. Today, the Red Sox get 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They leave 4. The Mariners, 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 12 left. And I think pretty definitively, Will Middlebrooks, as we begin the Nissan postgame show, this was the rockiest start we've seen from Garrett Crochet. It was just surprising how little command he had from the get-go.
That was a very human start, I guess.
Yeah,
you don't normally
Be
see him
patient.
that
We're
way
almost
with
there, guys.
5 walks, the most he's ever had in an outing in his career, up to 110 pitches, only 65 strikes. But it's just, even with, and that shows you, even in this league, if you have the pure elite top of the line stuff, if you're not getting strike one, if you're constantly in hitters counts, you're not going to find yourself having a very good day on the mound.
Red Sox only had 3 base runners after the 3rd inning. One of them a homer from Narvaez off the pesky pole. 2 walks, 1 from Bregman, and then 1 from Casas. So, look, we knew coming into this series, Will, that the Mariners were going to be a tough out because they pitch really well. But the problem is, of course, the Red Sox win the opener. They get the best of Miller. And then, Newcomb yesterday got hit very hard. They just didn't capitalize on chances late, the Red Sox. Today, Brian Wu was awesome, but still just disappointing overall offensively, I thought, in this 3-game series.
Yeah, you're starting to see some guys get up there really long swings against fastballs up in the zone, and with all the scouting reports and the information available to other teams, available to everyone right now in this era of baseball, teams are going to continue to just take advantage of your deficiencies, what you're not good at. So you're going to see teams to continue to throw fastballs up in the zone until the Red Sox start to shorten up and make a big adjustment.
Especially Rafi Devers, who just sees nothing but heat these days. So 4-3, the Mariners win. The Arbella Insurance Foundation, dedicated to striking out cancer by supporting the Jimmy Fund. Sox pitchers today, Crochet, Weissert, Hendricks, and Guerrero combined for 8 strikeouts. That means another $400 donated to the Jimmy Fund to help strike out cancer. Arbella is here for the Jimmy Fund and here for good. For every double.
You've been listening to Red Sox Baseball on WTIC News Talk 1080. We now join our regularly scheduled program.
Are we officially back now? I'm assuming that we
You're
are.
up.
Oh, yeah, we're back. Hey, all right.
You got 1 minute.
Yeah, I know. All right, we're back on regular radio. I hope you guys are ready to rock. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into, so stick around. Sad the Red Sox lost, but, hey, so it goes. They still have a winning record, and, that's just the way it goes. But anyway, we got plenty of stuff coming up. Negro Nonsense very, very soon. And, of course, I said this earlier. Stay tuned. Reese on the Radio is figured out how to end, well, if not, put a nice little nick in the pocketbooks of Planned Parenthood in and around the country. Okay? So stick around for that. We've got all of that coming up as well. And we got Sunny Houston Houston of The View, Letitia James coming up. And what was the other thing? And I know that I had it here, so forgive me because I don't have my list in front of me. Yeah, that was it. Oh, we already talked about it. And that was the Atlantic is doing an interview exclusively with Donald Trump. Donald Trump talking about it on Truth Social. So we'll get into that as well. And if you're just joining us, I'll also break down what the opening monologue was about how the left has always chosen crime as a way to identify with the inner city. We'll talk about that a little bit as well in case you missed it. All right, so stick around for that. Jason, Katarina, and Mark Christopher are coming up. They are in the BPS Traffic Center. And they've got both your weather and traffic. All right, Mark, we're back on. We're back at it. And we're still waiting for him. There he is. Mark?
Hey, Reese, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're southbound 91 coming into Hartford, you got delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Then you're back at some heavy stop and go again. from 29A down to between 25 S&N and 24. An accident on the right shoulder, tractor trailer and a couple of vehicles, all rubbernecking there. So that's the heavy delay there coming 91 south. 91 northbound delays 24 up to the accident scene, rubbernecking at that southbound crash. Moving well after that, Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 58 all the way out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. From their earlier accident downtown 84 eastbound, you're tied up about a mile before 46th Avenue to the Bulkley, slowing again 58 out to 59 in the 384 interchange. 291 eastbound's tight I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound is slowing now, coming off of I-84 out to exit 3 in East Hartford. Westbound side of Route 2, you're looking at delays by 4A. The Route 3 exit, again, from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 3 southbound's heavy from Route 2 all the way down to I-91 in Wethersfield because of that crash on 91 South. Now, if you are traveling 291 eastbound, you're slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge into Middletown. 9 northbound delays 22 to the Aragoni. 84 eastbound in Waterbury tight 17 to 18. Westbound 84 slows in Waterbury 23 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Cheshire tight from 26 down to the 691 interchange. Over to Danbury, 84 eastbound slowing New York, Connecticut line out to 5. Again, 84 eastbound's tight from 9 in Newtown to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic 61 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 48 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It is quite warm for many of us, unless you're right down along the sound. Other than that, a beautiful day. And as we head through tonight, it remains quite mild for us. Partly cloudy, the low only dropping down to 55. Now, warmer day as we head into our Friday with some sun and areas of high clouds, but the high jumping up to 85. Now, it's still clear to partly cloudy Friday evening. That becomes cloudy late. We'll get a couple of showers overnight, the low down to 58. A cloudy day on Saturday, cooler too, breezy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high down to 65. Windy Sunday. Now, that high of 60 is going to feel a little cool with a strong northwest wind throughout the day. Then it's pleasant and warmer as we head into the beginning of next week. Lots of sun Monday, the high 74. Feeling summer-like on Tuesday, partly sunny, the high up to 82. Now, right now, like I said, it's cool with the breeze coming off of the water in New London with 55, 64 in New Haven, but otherwise 72 in Mansfield, 73 in Meriden, 75 Bristol, and 73 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St. Francis Hospital, Covaris, and Yukon Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com. Hey, baseball fans, you can win tickets to a Boston Red Sox game with the Red Sox Player of the Game contest. Just listen when we announce the player of the game during the 7th inning stretch. That would be during the break in the middle of the 7th inning, during every game broadcast on WTIC. Then tune into Brian and Company the following morning at 8:10. Know the player of the game, be the correct caller, and you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming game in Boston. It's the Red Sox Player of the Game contest, only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Slow?
30 seconds.
Backed up? Don't worry.
Okay.
ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
All right, we're back.
Be right back. Don't answer no calls.
I won't. We're back. Strap in. Sit still. Because it's happening.
Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Negro
There is more fallout with Letitia James, and oh, baby, this is a good one. This is a good one. Letitia James, sadly enough, is going through this mortgage fraud situation where she's standing up and saying, I will not be deterred. I will not be led astray. I will not be intimidated. But she's got other problems. According to the headline, Letitia James is a slumlord. New York attorney Letitia James, champion of the poor and wretched, is now facing criticism for her conduct as a landlord. Records from the New York City Department of Buildings and Department of Housing Preservation and Development, also known as HPD, indicate a troubling pattern of neglect at her 5-unit apartment building at 296 Lafayette Avenue in Brooklyn. In the past 20 months alone, there have been 17 complaints against James with the New York City Department of Buildings, 2 of which were this year, 2025. These include unauthorized constructions, that's work without permits, the altercation of load-bearing wall permits, illegal use of apartments as hotel rooms, I'm assuming it's Airbnb, illegal conversion, a fence over the height limit, and the failure to notify authorities of scaffold work. But what's more alarming of all the 4 of Letitia James' tenants, they listed having bed bugs infestations and reinfestations. Of course, you know, bed bugs are bad. There's also complaints of peeling paint. Peeling paint usually means that there's lead. Usually does, at least according to most building inspectors, especially in the older buildings. Because of that lead-based paint, there may be other infractions. But Letitia James, I think, a month ago? I think she just posted this on X. I can't believe she did. But then again, what else is new? She wrote, all New Yorkers deserve fair, stable housing, and I will always take on landlords who try to evade our laws for their own financial gain. Learn more about your rights as a tenant, she wrote. This on February 18th of this year. This is so typical of this woman. That's how horrible of a person she is. That's why I put focus on her. But not to be outdone, Sunny Hostin, Houston. This is the race baiter on The View. And I do believe this from the bottom of my heart. I believe that the reason why Sunny Hostin, Houston is a race baiter, because I think it's in her blood.
I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah.
I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
Yeah, some things never change there, homegirl. Some things never change. Did you hear that, the way that she laughed? And my family were slave owners.
I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah.
She was a little embarrassed about that. Sunny Hostin, Houston on The View. After finding out that Donald Trump wants to give $5,000 to people to have babies. Well, apparently they found a problem with that over at The View, and in particular, Sunny Hostin, Houston. But it was weird because I didn't really understand. She did a lot of ahas for stuff that made no sense. Here's her, I guess, theory about why Donald Trump would be offering $5,000 for people to have more babies.
When I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why, and I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births. But that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned.
What are you talking about? Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers, which means what?
About that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Say it.
No, I think I said enough.
It's not based on those.
And so, well, it's just based on a study. And so the other thing
But
I
have
will
they said that anywhere? I mean, I feel like
yeah,
it has to be fair.
it's just fair to who? It's just a.
Have they said that this is to target only white families?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You have to read between the lines.
I just gave the stats.
I'm not going to say
It's
it.
about economics. They're wanting people to pay in.
I'm just giving.
Now, I never understood what the big ruckus was over the View, like why this was a problem. And as I kept hearing the theories about it, I'm just listening going, okay, so if I'm getting this right, the problem with the birth rate of the country is that the largest population has a declining birth rate. And the incentive is to get more people in that declining group to have more babies. Let's take their view on this. Let's take Sunny Hostin, Houston, Whoopi Goldberg, and every other bigot on that show from their point of view. The problem of having more white babies means what? Just what? What does it mean? If there are more white babies, it means that the country will be more white, which means what? That's all I want to know. What does it mean? And if there's the declining, remember what she said, the increase in birth were Hispanics and Asians. She didn't say black. She said Hispanics and Asians, which, by the way, why are Hispanics outnumbering African Americans 2-1, close to 3-1? By the way, do you remember when that happened? Does anybody remember when that happened? When Hispanics, it was the first time that the Hispanic population outnumbered the African American population in the country 2-1 in 2000. Anybody remember that? I do. I remember it well. Why? Because there was an overwhelming number of people in the African American community who aborted their children. At one time in New York City, 10 years ago? There were more babies aborted in New York than they were born. Look it up. Don't listen here. Go look it up. Go do your little research. I don't want anybody over sitting and go, that's not true. Yes, it is. New York City painted or changed the colors of the Empire State Building during Andrew Cuomo's tenure to the color of pink to celebrate what? Legal abortion up until the date of birth in New York City. Look it up. Look it up. In a town that had more black babies aborted than born. Look it up. Everybody knows it's true. Don't leave it to me. I'll embarrass you. Don't leave it to me. You can doubt me all day, but you know I know. Now, Sunny Hostin, Houston would never, ever suggest that black women have more babies. Would never suggest that. Why? Because it goes against the what? Planned Parenthood abortion narrative. Immediately, it would go against that. Because she is stand by Planned Parenthood, stand by the abortion lobby, stand by abortion for everyone at any time. So she couldn't. When we come back, I'm going to explain to you, really, really easy. I'm going to explain to you how you can turn all of that around. Scare the hell out of people like Sunny Hostin, Houston. Make them completely decide on their own to start promoting more people in the inner city to have babies. And I know if you're thinking your wheels are spinning now, I bet you know exactly how it's done. It's the only way to get anything done politically or ideologically in the country right now. Because again, I don't understand it. Sunny Hostin, the reason why her show is number 1 or number 2 in her time slot is because she has an overwhelming viewership of white women. It's just a fact. They're not breaking ground with the black audience. But here is that woman on television saying that Donald Trump is trying to promote white birth. as if to suggest that he has a Mein Kampf-like bent on bringing more of the master race into existence. And what she's doing is actually saying how that's a bad idea. How the declining birth rate, she would rather keep it as it is. Because you couldn't make an argument any other way. They can't. Because all I want to know is, I need to understand what is bad about this. That's the only thing I'm trying to understand. And I don't think that they can. So you heard, listen to her. She clearly does not want more white babies. Or she is telling white people, if you follow this and actually have a baby so that you can get $5,000 from Trump, you're a racist. You're trying to make this a pure white country.
When I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why, and I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births. But that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Yeah, black and white, stupid. If the only increases were Asian and Hispanic, would you forget the other races? That means that blacks were included in that as well. Bob in the chat room says, do you think Donald Trump wants more black babies born? No, Bob, but I know you don't. Bob, I know you don't want more black babies born. I know you're against the population of black babies growing. I know that right off the bat. You have no interest in increasing black babies. I know that you have no interest in black families. I know that you support the degradation of black life in this country. How do I know that? I know that you hate black families and black babies more than Donald Trump does. I know you do. You see, you're trying to make the excuse about Donald Trump. You think Donald Trump wants more black babies? If you were living your life based upon what Donald Trump likes and doesn't like, if that's going to be your excuse to everything, why exist? See, I know you don't want more black babies in the country. But guess what? Guess who does? The guy who's on this microphone. I've been doing it for over 25 years. I have a proven record. I have an actual accountable record that has been going after Planned Parenthood in the inner city, killing black babies for 25 years. That's this guy right here. So when I get messages from Donald talking nonsense about, I have this feeling that you don't like black people, that's funny. Then why am I fighting so hard for them to stop killing their babies in the womb? What, because I hate them? No offense. You guys make no sense. That's why no one believes you. I don't see you fighting Planned Parenthood. I see you out there saying every day, well, the woman's got a right to do whatever she wants. A woman could do whatever she wants with her body. While abortionists are eradicating the race. Dwindling numbers, fewer and fewer. Birth rate practically down to zero. Please don't bore me with the I care about black people. You don't even care about them in the womb. And you don't care about them in the street either. Stop it. I've been kicking you guys' tail on this subject forever. The only thing you want is nice things said about black people, but you got no skin in the game. None. So, with that I say, work harder. Work harder. Put your money where your mouth is. If you're smart, you join me. But I don't expect that. That I don't expect. I expect people to be who they are. So, no, you don't. Please stop telling me you love black babies. You don't. You don't love black babies. You don't. No, you don't. Let's take a break. Let's get some weather and traffic from Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Southbound 91 coming into downtown Hartford right now. Look for delays from 35 all the way down to between 25 S&N and 24. An accident, tractor-trailer vehicle accident, right shoulder, all rubbernecking there. Very lengthy delay. Northbound 91, some sluggish traffic, 24 up to the accident scene. After that, you got a good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is running slow. 57 for the Charter Oak Bridge all the way out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. You're tight again as you move up on the 384 interchange on the Manchester East Hartford line. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. Look out for an accident. 2 westbound in the vicinity of exit 4A. More slow traffic in East Hartford from 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you're Route 2 eastbound heavy coming off of I-84 out to exit 3 in East Hartford. Traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, slowing 9 northbound from 32 up to exit 34 in New Britain. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 17 to 18. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is running slow, 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Over to Danbury, 84 eastbound delays 3 to 5. Again, you're going to see delays from 8 in Danbury, pretty much out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway slowing 60 into the West Rock. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. And 91 southbound New Haven slowing from exit 6 in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
There are a beautiful rest
millions
of
of
our
women
Thursday
all
afternoon. Sunny and warm, the high of 77 today. Partly cloudy and remaining mild tonight. The low only down to 53. Then Friday, very warm with some filtered sunshine. The high jumping up to 83 to round out the week. Friday night, mild, clear to partly cloudy in the evening. Then rain develops late, the low down to 56. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy and cooler, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have sunny skies. Temperature in Hartford is 74 degrees. 4 people are dead after the BMW in which they were riding slammed into a building that partially collapsed earlier this morning. The crash occurred at the Hernandez Market on the corner of Cherry Street and Maple Avenue in the Brass City. Police Chief Fernando Spagnolo says it could have been a whole lot worse.
Thankfully, there were no people on the street at the time of the accident or anyone inside the building at the time of the accident, so that mitigated further damage or injuries.
Now, the victims have been identified as 20-year-old Caden Torres, 25-year-old Nelson Torres, and 15-year-old Noel Torres. They're all brothers. The other victim, 20-year-old Jonathan Puska. All 4 of the victims were from Waterbury. President Trump says he's putting pressure on Russia to end its war on Ukraine.
Very simply, I have no allegiance to anybody. I have allegiance to saving lives.
Correspondent Nancy Cortez is at the White House.
President Trump was asked point blank, what concessions has Russia offered so far to show that it's serious about making a deal? What is Russia willing to give up? And in a really eye-opening moment, the president said, well, they're willing to stop the war. They're willing to not take over the entire country. That is not something that most U.S. allies would view as a major concession. What we're hearing right now does not sound like a deal that Ukraine would be prepared to take at the end of the day.
A 19-year-old suspect is now under arrest and charged with setting that giant wildfire in New Jersey that scorched thousands of acres. The fire is centered about 40 miles east of Philly and is about 50% contained, according to Chief Bill Donnelly of the New Jersey Forest Fire Service, who adds that 4 buildings are still threatened.
We have resources out there continuing to monitor the process of the fire and progress, and hopefully sometime tomorrow they will no longer be threatened.
Smoke from fires can exacerbate underlying health conditions. That's especially true during wildfire season. There have been dozens of fires here in Connecticut so far this season, and smoke from that fire in Jersey has made it into parts of our state as well. Dr. Doug Brogy, with who's the chair of public health sciences at UConn Health, says there are fire seasons that are going to be lasting longer.
2 summers ago, in the Canadian fires,
really dramatic.
Right.
And then last year it was more in California. So I can't predict where it's going to be a problem, but I think we're going to be dealing with this for a while.
He says those with such ailments as COPD and high blood pressure should take precautions to mitigate the effects of wildfire smoke. Latest on the Maryland man mistakenly shipped off to that prison in El Salvador from correspondent Scott McFarland.
A federal judge overseeing that case in Maryland has just pushed back a deadline. She's now agreed to wait until Wednesday of next week for the administration to answer some pivotal questions here, including about a return of Abrego Garcia from the Salvadoran detention center, and also why he's there in the first place, and a whole series of other questions Abrego Garcia's lawyers have put forward.
Police in the town of Plymouth are investigating the theft of art from the town library on Wednesday. A post from the Terryville Public Library says the thief swiped 3 pieces from artist Steve
Tim,
Pilato
what's the health care
on
that
Wednesday.
Planned Parenthood
Works
provides?
measure 18 by 24
What
inches
health
and
care are you
framed.
talking about?
Corporal Henry McAtee is with the Plymouth PD.
There was no forced entry. Library was open at the time. I spoke to the artist. The artist says that the works are approximately $1,200 a piece. So they're considerable value.
And he says they have identified a person of interest seen in a hoodie and a mask near the artwork prior to the theft. Anyone with any information has to contact police. Wall Street markets up this Thursday. The Dow gained 486 points. NASDAQ gained 457, and the S&P was up 108 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Has your home's air conditioning? It's cool. Ready for a change? Say, come on into Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling knows how to get the most out of your AC system. Change is good. Filter changes, condenser cleanings, and cleaning the outside of your unit. All systems require yearly service so your home and you can breathe a little bit easier. Before you lose your cool, contact Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling and Barney Barker Oil on Facebook or campbellcooling.com. That's campbellcooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Equipment.
Second opinions.
You get them with your health.
So why not with your wealth?
Your stock market investments deserve a second opinion.
At Henyon & Walsh, it only takes a second
to schedule your free second opinion.
Go online and search for Henyon & Walsh. The second opinion. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of
I'm going to love
advisory services
dismantling
provided
you.
by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Stick around. When we come back, more Negro nonsense. How can we end abortion in the inner city? I am going to tell you how to get it done. But I want to read this statement from another leftist who doesn't know any better. And I am going to give documented evidence that I love doing this. One of my favorite things to do. Tim had said that Planned Parenthood provides health care. And when I asked behind the scenes what was the health care that they provided, he wrote, his words, not mine, contraception, STI testing, in other words, sexually transmitted disease or infections testing and treatment, cancer screening, and wellness. Okay. Contraception is not health care. STI testing and treatment is not health care. That's not the same thing. Cancer screening is health care. That's going to have to be debunked. And I've got the audio for it, and boy, is it embarrassing. I don't think he's ever heard this audio before, but if you haven't either, wait until we get back. It is the biggest and dumbest myth ever told to man. Because again, what did I say about Chris Murphy earlier? Throwing water balloons from the roof, throwing water balloons from the window, and never being on the ground, throwing them to the face of their opponents. When they are forced to, hamana, they don't know what to say. Do you remember who Cecil Roberts was? Yes. We're going to play you some audio you've probably never heard before, along with Barack Obama and plenty of others on healthcare and Planned Parenthood. So stick around for that. It will be my pleasure. Now let's get back to some weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 91 southbound, look for delays now from exit 34 all the way down to exit 25 S&N and Rocky Hill. That earlier tractor-trailer accident between 25 S&N and 24 has been cleared. Northbound 91, you'll see some slow traffic now moving by 24 for the Silestine Highway. After that, looks pretty good. Hartford up into the Windsor exits. Westbound 84 tied up 57 in East Hartford up to 47 Sigourney Street downtown. 84 eastbound locked up 44 Prospect Oakwood to the Bulkley Bridge. If you are traveling 291 eastbound, you're heavy from I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound, some slow traffic as you move up on exit 4A in Glastonbury. We have an accident right near 4A, delays back to 8 behind that. Also some slow traffic from 1D in East Hartford up to the 84 West merge. Route 2 eastbound slowing off of I-84 off to exit 3 in East Hartford. If you're traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, some slow traffic by 32 in Berlin. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 17 to 18. Again, slow traffic in Cheshire, 26 to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 25A up to the Mixmaster. Over to Danbury, 84 eastbound delays 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing in Danbury, 8 out to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, some slow traffic, 60 in Hamden into the West Rock. 95 southbound in New Haven slows 48 to 43 in West Haven. And 91 southbound New Haven slowing from exit 4 down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, it's been a beautiful day heading through tonight. Partly cloudy, the low down to 55. Very warm Friday to round out the week with sun and some high clouds, the high of 85. Clear to partly cloudy Friday evening, then becoming cloudy with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm Saturday, breezy and cooler, the high 65. Now, Sunday, partly sunny, windy. It's going to be the high of 60, but with a northwest wind cranking along 15 to 25 miles an hour, it's going to feel pretty cool on Sunday. Now, Monday, pleasant and warmer to kick off the week. Lots of sun, the high of 74. Partly sunny and very warm Tuesday with the high up to 82. Right now, it's still 72 in Meriden, 70 in Waterbury, still much cooler along the shore. 58 in New London and 59 in Bridgeport. It's 74 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and for the one you love. At Northeast Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Prometic restorative health practice.
Hi, Tom Shattuck here. Nope, no bold political predictions. Today, instead, I'm making a bolder prediction. An opportunity, one might say. How about setting a goal to lose 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180? Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, right? 40 by the 4th. Imagine this. Your scale shows 240 today. How about watching that dip to a cool 200 by Independence Day? Or maybe it's reading over 300 like my scale did. How would it feel seeing 260 by the 4th and on your way to losing 80 pounds? Again, like I did with Awaken 180. Looking back, it took me only 5 weeks to drop my first 40. Of course, that's not the norm, but we'll just say I'm an overachiever. Regardless, if you set your goal and follow the program, you'll crush your goal by the 4th. Then ring Independence Day in, shirt off, confident, martini and burger in hand. Celebrate reaching your goal, knowing you'll keep the weight off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and attain it with your long-term solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. Do the wealthy think differently? Do they plan differently? And what should I be doing differently? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed?
ALO Home Services, same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say, hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D104011465, E11856443, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you let divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Phone calls are going to have to wait. We're just getting back on the air after a little bit, so I want to go through this thing, okay? You heard a lot of this stuff, this nonsense about health care being related to Planned Parenthood. It's not. Planned Parenthood is an abortion mill. It is. You don't like it, but it's a fact. And there is no health care. A lot of people tried to promote it that way. Even the lauded and Messiah himself, Barack Obama. Here's him and others talking about that same nonsense, about Planned Parenthood providing essential health care for women.
There are millions of women all across the country who rely on Planned Parenthood for not just contraceptive care, they rely on it for mammograms.
We do not have mammogram machines at our health centers, and we've never stated that we did.
The $500 million that gets given to Planned Parenthood every single year goes to female care. It goes for scanning for cancer. It goes for mammograms.
We do not have mammogram machines at our health centers, and we've never stated that we did.
That person saying that we never stated that we did is Cecil Richards, who is the former president of Planned Parenthood, with all of these people saying that, no, they give mammograms to women. Yeah. She says, we never stated that we did, and we never have.
Planned Parenthood, for example, doesn't provide mammograms. Now, I know people say they do, but they don't. In fact, they do.
We do not have mammogram machines at our health centers, and we've never stated that we did.
What's going to happen as a result of this, if this bill would ever becomes law, millions of women in this country are going to lose their health care access, not to abortion services, to basic family planning, mammograms.
That was Cecil Richards herself saying that women were going to lose basic health care like mammograms on The View.
We do not have mammogram machines at our health centers, and we've never stated that we did.
Please, with all due respect, stop. Stop. They don't provide health care. They are here to kill babies. That's it. That's what they do. And to sell their body parts. I know it's an uncomfortable truth, but it is one. I know it's an uncomfortable truth that you can't deal with, but it is one. Call it rumors, call it innuendos, but that's what they do. They promote sex all over through the schools so that kids could get unwanted pregnancies so they can fill their coffers by killing those babies to the tune of hundreds of dollars. Please spare me. Please spare me. No one's believing you anymore because the truth is out there. So if you want to live in the dark, live in the dark. That's your business. I don't care what you believe. Believe what you want. Believe what you want. But the facts will remain. You can't do anything about them. The facts are here. The only person you can lie to is yourself. The rest of us already know the deal. Now, back to my point. How can we end the inner city and its addiction, if you will, as using abortion as healthcare? I don't know why I didn't think of it before. But do you remember the famous words that Donald Trump gave during his speech at the joint sessions?
I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what.
So I would propose that Donald Trump echo the words of Janet Yellen, the former Fed chair. If I were him, I would repeat her words, that abortion is essential in the African American community for financial and economic reasons. I would go on Truth Social or any place that would ask me. I would set up a reporter to ask me that question. They do it all the time. Do you think that abortion is essential in the African American community for economic reasons? And Donald Trump would say, yeah, I remember Janet Yellen talking about that. Apparently, the statistics appear to be true, that African Americans run the risk of getting themselves into financial ruin if they don't have abortions. What do you think the left would do? What do you think Ayanna Pressley would do? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Chuck Schumer? What do you think they would do? Nancy Pelosi? Who wouldn't be running to the nearest MSNBC studio or CNN or CBS to condemn the language of Donald Trump? And then immediately start telling African Americans that they need to have more babies. Donald Trump's trying to eradicate you. You need to stop aborting your babies. Donald Trump is encouraging you to abort your babies. That's exactly what they would do. Come on, folks, tell me I'm lying. How many Teslas have burned in your neighborhood? Huh? Come on, tell me it wouldn't work. That the left immediately, right there, would turn on a dime, would 180 without even thinking. Immediately, Planned Parenthood, all of a sudden, every known slight of Planned Parenthood's mission from its inception of Margaret Sanger would immediately be brought up by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know that racist Margaret Sanger? Hillary Clinton would be handing over her Margaret Sanger Award on TikTok. I can no longer keep this award. Tell me I'm lying. If Donald Trump were to go out there and say, I think what Janet Yellen said was correct. African Americans are very, very much hurt and harmed by not being able to abort their children for financial reasons. Come on. You know it's true. They completely take the opposite of him. Everything he says is 100% wrong, even if he used their own words. Even if he used the words of the left. Janet Yellen said it. She said it at a Senate hearing in an exchange with Tim Scott. Even Tim Scott had to check her on that. He asked her about African-American women, and she doubled down on it. And you know she did. Let's go to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Phil in Marlboro. Thanks for holding, Phil.
Hey, Phil. Excuse me, Reese. I just got off the highway, and it's a terrible scene.
Oh.
But I'm almost in tears listening to all this because, as you know, just had my birthday, 58. My son is almost 4 months, and I don't care what color your baby is.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. I mean, take care of it. That's it.
All we want, listen, we understand that us as a country are at the level of its extinction because we listen to these climate whack jobs for far too long, and now people are opting out of having children. It's destroyed the birth rate in this country. I'm sorry, I got to cut you off. It's destroyed the birth rate in this country to astronomical levels. This isn't about whether or not they're black or they're white or they're Asian. They know the birth rate is down. We need to populate this country because far too long, for eons, gosh, since the 70s, people have been talking about depopulation. We went from, 6 billion in the 1970s? Probably about 5 billion in the 1970s. We're at 8 billion now. And even with that increase, people are still telling us that we're still growing too much. It doesn't make sense. Let's go to White Mike. What's going on, sir?
Oh, man. So I love you like a brother, but
yes,
ending abortion in the inner city is societal suicide.
Ending abortion in the inner city is societal suicide. Wait a minute. And now I'm assuming that are you taking a little bit of the Freakonomics study here?
I'm taking a logical, somebody who watches the freaking news and breathes air.
Okay, now, wait. Stop that. That's where I stop you. Okay, hear me out. Okay, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the current state of the inner city, right?
No, it's not the current state. It's the state that's been the state since the 60s.
Okay, I would say 70s, but not so much in the 60s. Yeah. The 70s, definitely.
Well, Watts riots. The Watts riots.
Late 60s. That's Watts riots are what, 67?
Yeah, and like Detroit was 67 or 68.
Right. Yeah, so late 60s. Okay, fine.
Not only should abortion not be removed from the inner city, we should give out free Popeyes 2 pieces and biscuits when they get one.
Mike,
there is no benefit. There's no benefit to these people who are of that intellectual and social economic class having more people.
Oh, no. I am not. No. See, you sound like I'm advocating for just people to follow or break what we call the social norms. Have children out of wedlock, do not get an education. I'm not, in no way am I advocating that. And no normal person, Mike, would be advocating for people to just flippantly and irresponsibly just have children. That's not what I'm talking about.
What do now?
What's that?
They're going to change. They're going to change their behavior because they can't get abortions. They're just going to have more kids.
I understand, and I'm not talking about listen, if anything in the world I'm telling people is, and again, I know this because I've done this independent study. It's not scientific, but I've done it before. I asked, it was like had to be at least 30 men, 30 black and Hispanic men combined. And I said, if there was no advent of abortion, right? There was no, they've never been heard of where you could actually abort a child, that every child that was conceived had to be born. Would you rethink your promiscuity and your sexual behavior if indeed the child had to be born under those circumstances? I couldn't finish the sentence before all of them said, yeah, I would strap up. Oh, yeah, I would definitely not. They immediately did.
So you asked the demographic of men who are most likely to not pay child support.
Indeed.
What they would do in hypothetical situation.
Right, exactly. And again, I also take it. It's funny you say that. I also take into consideration, what I found to be, and I watched it closely, and I implore people, go back and watch the old tapes. Those, Maury Povich, You Are the Father videos. People think that stuff is just comedy gold. For me, it's a social, economic, and psychological breakdown of people in the inner city. When I see those young black men and Hispanic men find out that the woman they want nothing to do with is pregnant and it's their child, when they get the DNA test back, the looks on their faces is absolute torment and hatred, which again is my point. If there was no advent of abortion in those communities, trust me, you would see promiscuity hit the ground. As far as levels. No. I know you're thinking, I know you think I'm crazy.
It's human nature. They know that they're going to have a baby. They know that most of these women are not going to have abortions. They're going to have the kids, while you have black women who have like 7 different children. by 7 different baby
That's a
daddies.
different scenario because they don't have the, first of all, those women clearly do not have the financial means to go get abortions, but if they did, they would. You know that.
Come on, dude. They don't
No,
want to
that's
get
a
abortions.
fact. That is abortions are
They
not
don't get
cheap, my
abortions.
friend.
Yes, but if you have a child, the government will pay for it forever.
That's okay. I will admit, yes, there is an incentive there. There's an incentive there for that. I got to take a break, but there is an incentive there for that. But I'm still telling you, I know exactly what the behavior would be like. But thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. He's so damn controversial. Love that guy. Let's take another break. We got to get to some weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's got your weather, and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. 91 southbound, look for delays as you move down by 35 A and B, and Windsor down to 32 A and B. In Hartford, more slow traffic from 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weather Shield line. Looks good northbound 91 Cromwell up into Windsor. If you're traveling westbound 84, very heavy this afternoon, approaching 57 in East Hartford, all the way out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, locked up 44 Prospect Oakwood to the Bulkley. 5 and 15 southbound heavy from I-84 in East Hartford over the Charter Oak Bridge to 91 south in Hartford. If you are traveling Route 2 westbound, you'll see some slow traffic by 4A. The Route 3 interchange, again, delays in East Hartford from 1D up to the 84 West merge. Traveling 2 eastbound, heavy coming off of I-84, and it's tight out to exit 3 in East Hartford. 291 eastbound, slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound, delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni. 9 southbound, slowing Cromwell Middletown line to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling on the southbound side of Route 9, some slow traffic approaching 35 in New Britain down to 33 in Berlin. Westbound side of 84, you're tight in Cheshire from exit 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound delays 17 to 18 in Waterbury. Again, slowing 26 down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. 84 eastbound Danbury, tight 3 to 5. 84 eastbound again, slowing from 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. If you're southbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic approaching 60 in Hamden down to the West Rock. 90 northbound on the Parkway, you've got slow traffic by 57 in Orange, and again 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. South 95 is slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven, and 91 southbound delays 6 down in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Thursday afternoon, sunny and beautiful, warm with a high of 77. Partly cloudy, remaining mild tonight, the low only dipping down to 53. Now, beautiful day to round out the week. Very warm on Friday with some filtered sunshine. That's sun in areas of high clouds, the high of 83. Friday night, clear to partly cloudy in the evening. Periods of rain develop late, the low down to 56. Then Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy and cooler, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, 74 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva. Waterbury police say a car traveling at a high rate of speed struck a building this morning that housed a city market and a restaurant. 4 people were killed, 3 of whom were brothers. That scene on Cherry Street, where the BMW hit the building, was active for most of the day. The victims identified as 20-year-old Caden Torres, 25-year-old Nelson Torres, and 15-year-old Noel Torres. The other victim, 20-year-old Jonathan Puska, all of the victims from Waterbury. A man who Brass City police say stole a box truck, then led officers on a pursuit Wednesday's under arrest. Suspect Dante Walton hit several vehicles on Grand Street, including a pair of police vehicles. He's charged with reckless driving, engaging in pursuit, and other offenses. Police in the town of Plymouth investigating a theft of art from the town library. A post from the Terryville Public Library says the thief swiped 3 pieces from local artist Steve Perlotta, each pegged at about $1,200 apiece. The police do say they have identified a person of interest, and they're still looking for any information from the public and ask anybody that does have that information to contact them. Man who pled guilty in a fatal mass shooting on the 4th of July 3 years ago has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Robert Cremo shot up a parade from a rooftop in suburban Chicago. 7 were killed. Dozens of others were wounded. Russia attacked Kyiv in an hours-long barrage of missiles and drones. At least a dozen killed there, wounding around 90. President Trump today on social media urging President Putin to come to the table to end the war. And it's the NFL draft tonight after months of mock drafts by the so-called insiders. We'll see who actually goes where tonight. University of Miami quarterback Cam Ward expected to be the number 1 overall pick. This year's extravaganza takes place at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Dow up 486 points on Wall Street today. The Nasdaq gained 457, S&P up 108. Red Sox fell to the Mariners on the radio this afternoon 4-3. Mets and Yankees have the night off. NBA playoffs, the series shifts to Detroit between the Knicks and the Pistons. Series tied at a game apiece. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Yard Goats Baseball is back Tuesday, April 29th for 6 straight games against the Orioles affiliate. Tuesday, we've got a Bouncing Pickles pickleball paddle giveaway. Wednesday, we honor our most improved students. Thursday, we honor the people of the Dominican Republic. Friday, we've got amazing food and drink specials. Saturday, post-game fireworks. And Sunday, May 4th, is Star Wars Day. Get your tickets now at yardgoatsbaseball.com.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health.
1 minute.
We treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage and getting older. The energy level was just in the toilet. And that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the T treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only the results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
It's our birthday. WTIC has been on the air for 100 years, and we don't look a day over 98.
We're back. It's Reese On The Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. I want to read this before we go to break, and I just want a particular group of people to read it in particular, but I'm going to put it there on the screen. But I want you to understand that this is a philosophy that I stand by. It's just who I am. A man once said, "There is another class of colored people who make a business of keeping their troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievance because they do not want to lose their jobs." That was Booker T. Washington, a former slave. I read that because more and more people need to read it. He wrote that having been a slave. They want sympathy, and they know that it pays. If Booker T. Washington wrote that hundreds of years before Al Sharpton, it's all you need to know. That is where my philosophy comes from. So if you're stunned, if you're amazed, if you're shocked, it isn't new. It never was. Remember when Mama said ain't nothing new under the sun? She was right. Ain't nothing new under the sun. We'll take another break. Let's get some weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're on the westbound side of I-84, you're going to see delays now as you move up on exit 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney Street. Eastbound side of 84 still running heavy. 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. If you are traveling westbound 84 in East Hartford, look for a little slow traffic left lane as you try to get off on exit 57. 5 and 15 is heavy from I-84 over the Charter Oak Bridge to 91 South. Now, if you are traveling on the southbound side of 91, you've got delays 35 down to 32 A and B, and again, 27 down to exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound side of 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound, slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge, heading towards South Windsor. If you are Route 2 westbound, delays from 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 2 eastbounds heavy off I-84 out to exit 3 in East Hartford. 3 southbounds heavy from Route 2 in Glastonbury all the way over to the 91 South ramps in Weathersfield. Now, if you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, slowing from approaching 17 up to 18. Again, some slow traffic from 26 in Cheshire down to the 691 interchange. Westman 84, sluggish stop and go 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Over to Danbury, 84 eastbound delays 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing from 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway slowing from 61 to 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound look for delays 48 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. And 614. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy tonight, remaining mild, the low down to 55. Another beautiful day Friday to round out the week. Sun, some areas of high clouds, very warm with the high of 85. Mild Friday night, clear to partly cloudy during the evening if you've got plans. Otherwise, becoming cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm Saturday, breezy and cooler, the high 65. Going to be a cool and windy day for us Sunday. Well, it's going to feel cool on Sunday. Partly sunny, the high of 60, but that northwest wind sustained at 15 to 25 throughout the day is going to make it feel cooler. A pleasant and warmer day to start off the new week on Monday. Lots of sun, the high 74.
Scotty-o!
Summer-like again Tuesday, the high up to 82. It remains much cooler along the water with the breeze coming off of the water, the sound there in New London, the high of 58. 66 right now in New Haven, 70 for Waterbury, though, 72 Meriden, and 74 Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn ever since I turned 40. I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Coverage varies by plan, view contract.
1 minute.
Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for coverage. And so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
I screwed up.
WTIC News Talk 1080.
I screwed up because this ridiculous screen won't stop blacking out on me. And then I have to put this long password in order to get to the phones. So, Roland, you may have to help me on this one. Hold on. Wait, you know what? No, I can't do it. It's no way I can get to the computer and do the darn thing at the same time. It's just not going to happen. So completely screwed it up. Anyway, I don't care. Just get on the phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, so that you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. I can't believe I screwed this up. I turned my back on the computer just once, and you have this. When I do the password, you have to do, they make you do 14 consonants, one number, and a special character. And I put in my wife's name, and I couldn't just do that. So I have to put so much in here. I'm writing it down now, and it's too long. That's why I always make sure that I have it in and this whole thing is ready to go. I'm rambling now. Okay, hold on. Last letters. Hopefully I got it all right. Yes, good. There it is. All right, good to go. So now, get on the phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Bob says, Malcolm spoke of you in one of his speeches. No, he didn't. And you clearly never, ever listened to Malcolm X, my brother. I know you never listened to Malcolm X. No, I mean, with all due respect, I get a lot of these yahoos that come in here under the auspice of, I know Malcolm. No, you don't. No, you don't. When I talk about, here's the thing. I always have to educate these fools every day. When people ask me, you know that I love Ronald Reagan. You know that I love Rush Limbaugh. But you don't know how I followed the teachings of Malcolm X. You have no idea. I quote Malcolm X on this program. I'm one of the few people you also failed to mention, with the exception of the stations that do the hip-hop R&B, the bang-bang, shoot-em-up, Negro die, slow music all across the fruited plain. I'm the most pro-black person in the country. How do I know that? It's because I have the audacity to criticize everyone, regardless of where they come from or what their background is.
because I do it without fear or favor. That's what I do here. Please never quote Malcolm X to me, just like you tried to quote a Ronald Reagan to me the other day, and I had to give you a book to read. You know nothing about these people. Your education on them is limited. Okay? I come in here, just like you hear me talk about politics and pop culture, I come in here well-versed. I'm not a rookie. Not a rookie. I'm beyond my years on these subjects. Please never come at me with a Malcolm X quote. Never. You will be embarrassed at all levels. All levels. Try to tell people this. I got other people sitting up there talking about, are you just trying to cater to the white man? I cater to no one. I've got no friends in this. My personal friends are my personal friends. But I'm not bought and paid for. Not when people are sitting up here voting for Kamala Harris so they can get $25,000 for a house. Not when you tell me that you're going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's going to give you free marijuana. Please spare me with the who's bought and paid for. Please spare me with it. Your man Al Sharpton gets paid from every Fortune 500 company so that he can keep the pitchforks and the tiki torches away from their businesses. Please do not come at me with the who's paid for. Who's bought and paid for. That man makes over $600,000 to spew nonsense on MSNBC. That man is a reverend who talks about civil rights while at the same time going on his network telling black people to abort their babies. Please do not bore me with who's bought and paid for. I don't make enough money to be bought and paid for. Trust me, find me a check. Find me a check. Go through my financials. Tell me who's lining my pockets. No one. You want to know why they don't line my pockets? Because they know that I don't want to be in bed with them. I don't want to be a part of any of their committees. I don't want to go to any of their parties. I don't like them. I'm not their friends. I'm not their fans. I don't want any buddies and any pals in those circles. Once people start telling me what I'm supposed to think or how I'm supposed to behave, and they want to put money in my pocket to do so, I am no longer a free man. When you start taking money for housing, when you start taking money for food stamps, when you start taking money from the government, you start taking money from politicians, you are what we call bought and paid for. Ain't no sellouts over here, brother. Go talk to your brothers and sisters about that. I don't get down like that. Never have, never will. Everybody knows my integrity is intact. And I dare anyone to test me on it. Anybody. I stand toe-to-toe with any one of them. You'll find no check marks. You'll find no written checks by anybody. Anyway, yes, don't tell me Al Sharpton never told anybody to abort his babies. Are you serious? Okay, let me let you in on a little bit of a secret, okay? Because I don't name drop here. Yours truly attended the Al Sharpton wedding the Sunday after the death of Aaliyah on August 26, 2001. The night before that, I sat at the dinner table at Mr. Chow's next to Martin Luther King III and David Dinkins, the former mayor of New York. I've been in Al Sharpton's National Action Networks. I've been to his churches. I've been in the pews with him. I've been on the radio with him. I've talked to him and communicated with him. And yes, he does promote the abortion of black babies because he supports abortion. Because why? Because he gets a check too. He is bought and paid for. Slow your roll. You don't know who I know because I don't name drop. Unless I have to. Now with that, we move on. Let's go to Jason in Newington. Hey, Jason.
Good afternoon, Reese. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
That's good. First time, long time. I got a question for you. I know earlier today you're talking about, Trump giving $5,000 to families having babies going forward and, to help with the birth population, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking a little bit forward to that.
Okay.
Getting the birth rate in the right direction is, I'm on board with that. $5,000 is good. But whenever it comes to raising a child, I think that they're kind of like a flower or even, a crop. having the right nurturing, the right food, the right water to go and bring up that crop the right way to make it flourish would be good. So what I'd be asking you is, you have the baby, right?
Yeah.
How do you get the family to stay together to go and raise the child appropriately and morally correct?
I think you're
fruitful for society.
I think you're 100% right about that. That's exactly what my debate with White Mike was about, because again, and that's sort of like the pushback is like, if you put that incentive of $5,000, the most reckless of all people are going to say, I'm just pushing out babies and being the most irresponsible person in the world to get that $5,000. I'm so glad Donald Trump is being vague about this, because I believe it's not going to be a check given out. When people realize this, that they're not going to get a check in the mail once they push out a baby, then it's going to be, well, wait, what does this mean? If he uses it as a tax credit, right? In essence, you see it in dividends, right? It's not, in essence, the person who is doing that actually has to be somebody with actual skin in the game, a taxpayer, somebody of the middle class. That's not someone in the inner city, where very rarely do they ever file W-2s, okay? I mean, let's be honest. They don't.
Honestly, yeah, no, I agree with you. And I know, my wife and I guess maybe we don't help out the birth rate. We only have 2 kids and we didn't get 3.
Right.
The thing is I know nowadays to raise a child and just to get them to age 18, this was a study a few years ago, but they were saying it was around like $300,000.
It's 330, I think, was the last number I read as well. You're 100% right. You're in the ballpark at least.
Yeah, indeed. So, the thing is $5,000 check, even if you invest it, I don't think you're going to be able to make it, $300,000 in the long run. So, yeah.
But that's also the reason why I say, like, you'd have to be, and I think you understand this too, Jason. Imagine the type of reckless you would have to be, that you would bring a child into the world for a one-time payment of $5,000 to then have that child live in perpetual poverty for the rest of his life, to have a very limited future under those circumstances. That's why I think that this incentive, although like the way he described it was very matter of fact, but I think it's going to be far more nuanced. I think people are making more of it than the actual details are. That's why.
Yeah, and I mean, and I honestly, I'm just thinking out of the box, that there is even more tax incentives for people to stay together and have a, good moral families. So whenever they do have children, that they can be brought up correctly.
Yeah.
With patriotic values in the United States. I kind of think that would help out the most.
I wish more people read that Brookings Institute research back in the 80s, was it? That broke down this whole deal about what is the way to be more successful in your life. And the Brookings Institute, which is, again, one of the most left-leaning, thought leaders in the country, they broke down the one way to ensure that your life doesn't end up in poverty is to, 1, get an education, 2, do not have children out of wedlock, wait to get married, and get a job. Like, they make having children the last thing that you do. And again, this is their study that said that 9 times out of 10, you will not have a poverty-stricken child if they follow that metric. And that metric is the metric that every mainstream American teaches their children.
Yeah, I mean,
it just does. But I'll tell you this, Jason, I've told this before, but I'll tell you again, because it's been a long time since I said it. And by the way, we're going to make you the last but not least caller of the day, so you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months. But let me tell you this. A girlfriend of mine who lives in she lives in New Milford now, but from Danbury. She's from Danbury. I remember she told me about this study. And it talked about the difference between the inner city at the dinner table and the suburban dinner table. And she said at the suburban dinner table, many of their children are taught, get an education, get a good job, find a great spouse or partner, start, once you get the great job, find a good home, and then start a family. In the inner city, it's a more preventative lifestyle that they talk about. Don't join a gang. Don't do drugs. Don't get pregnant out of wedlock. It's always the things and the fears. There's not a lot of promoting of the positives. So when you have 2 different dynamics where they're being brought up, where one is hopeful and the other is fearful, That's how you start from the ground up on where you end up. You sort of you end where you begin. It's sort of the dynamic of it all. But I thank you for the call.
No.
Okay, real quick.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, I mean, people respond to economic incentives, so, how do you steer them morally that way?
Exactly.
But any which way. No, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it, and
My pleasure.
I love your show. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Jason will be our last but not least caller of the day. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. He is Mark Christopher with Jason Katarina, and they are in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night.
Hey, good night, Reese. Thank you. If you're heading into Hartford right now, still some traffic out there.
Oh, right, good sir.
Yeah, we got through that
Columbia
one.
Implant.
Yeah.
In Manchester. Let's start off 84.
All right, are they on
westbound.
again tomorrow
In East Hartford,
afternoon?
we got some slow traffic.
I don't think we have a day game tomorrow.
Oh,
To 57 for the Charter Oak
That's
Bridge.
a
Still
pain in
running
the
slow.
behind.
Yeah,
No,
well,
we do.
From
No.
East
Was it Thursday?
Over to the
No,
Charter
we got
Oak Bridge
7:30
in
games at
Hartford.
Cleveland tomorrow.
If you're westbound,
Yeah, it's a night game tomorrow.
Yeah, they're
to
going to
56
Cleveland.
out to 40.
Yep.
All right.
84 eastbound.
Thank you, boss man.
Sluggish now
See you
for
mañana.
See you mañana.
Avenue downtown. Southland 91.
Thank you, guys. Excuse me. You guys be good. It was a good, what's Bob saying now? You really go out of your way to explain Trump's lunacy. So, okay. Can I say this before I go, Bob and Don? Let me say this before I go. I'm not intimidated. That's never been me. Like, the more you show me that you're offended, the harder I push. Like, the more you combat me, the harder I go. Put more traffic in front of me, the faster I go. I just plow right through. You see, unlike everybody else that you know, I want the opposition. I await the hate. I live for it. I breathe it. I combat it. In fact, I eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I wake up every morning expecting it. I'm not intimidated. I will never be shamed into this trying to be down with your clique, saying that I'm a Trumpite or saying that I'm against the science or I'm a homophobe. These things, these platitudes, these comments, they mean nothing to me. They mean zero to me. I should bring on my ex-wife, who used to get into these arguments with me all the time. And she would call me names and she would go, you couldn't insult Reese. Reese doesn't care. You can say anything you want about her. Reese has never flinched. I don't flinch. I don't care. What you think of me means nothing. Nothing. It's like throwing a tennis ball at a skyscraper. I don't even know you're there. You're a gnat. If you want to have a conversation with me, have a conversation. But throwing out slights and casting aspersions, you only make me go harder. You only make me puff up my chest even more. You're telling me you want me to come at you. Become an ally. It's the only choice you have. Because the other stuff doesn't work. And what do they say about insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You're never going to get a different result. Ever. Ever. And when I look into this camera, I'm looking dead in your eyes. And I hope you understand that I'm being 100% true. You're never going to beat me, no matter what you do. You are going to fail. At the end, you will be the person who will be upset, in tears, and have your feelings hurt. You can do none of that to me. I've been through it all. I came to play, and I aim to win. There is no other option. Ever. So have a good night. Try again tomorrow.